good evening, and welcome in to Top of the River here in Anniston for FNN's annual Tuesday night high school football coaches show during the high school football season. I think we're up to week 5.
That's right.
I have to check with James to make sure as we continue through the season. But I do know this, Joe, we're getting close to the midpoint, and, it's time to really start talking about what could happen in some of these regions.
Yeah, we're at that week where a lot of these teams are playing non-region games middle of the season, so it's that time where things are starting to take shape, especially in 4A Region 6. Things are really taking shape quickly there, it seems like.
The point I want to make about week 5 is most people seem to think, well, it's a do-nothing, mean-nothing week, but with all the potential tiebreaker nonsense that could be coming up in some of these local regions that we cover, guys, you got to win these games to get those points.
Absolutely. 3A Region 6, of course, when you've got 9 teams in a region, that always factors in as far as getting deep into the tiebreaker scenario like, well, they did last year when they had that 5-way tie for third and for fourth. And even without that, let's say for our game this week, for both St. Clair County and for Shelby County, it's going to be like a region game for both of those teams. They both have big region games coming up for Shelby County at Demopolis the following week, and then against Leeds for St. Clair County their following week. So this week for our game of the week for those teams is kind of like a dress rehearsal for some of their biggest region games of the season.
No question, and especially I think for St. Clair County from a tiebreaker standpoint, because, you got to figure Moody's a lock at 1. It's either going to be Leeds or Jacksonville in 2, and if it comes down to those two, Jacksonville's got the edge because of the big upset this past Friday night, and we'll talk to Coach Sullivan about that here in just a little bit. But, so you plug one of those two into 2 and 3, that means everybody left is fighting for 4. One spot left for, 3 or 4 teams that have that playoff aspirations.
Absolutely, and it's even though once again it is a non-region week, it's still one of those weeks that I'm sure the coaches behind the scenes are telling their teams, especially the ones that are in playoff contention, hey, it's still an important week for us to continue to try and get better as we're at the midway point of the season.
No question about it.
And, Jacksonville is hoping not to be in a tiebreaker situation, but if they do, they're playing Corner this week, which is 3-1, and that could be very helpful.
Absolutely.
if they beat them.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing I think that coaches have to really maybe pay a little more attention to when it comes to setting up these schedules. You want to play people that can pay off if you can beat them, because you may need them.
And they got Anniston at the end of the season.
Oh, that'll be fun. And we have done some work on our schedule for the rest of the way. And, we've got this game Friday night between Shelby County and St. Clair County. Next week, we return to Lott Mosby for what should be a slugfest between Cherokee County and Anniston. And that's, if Anniston wins the game, Joe, it looks like the hay's in the barn for the top of the spot. Mm-hmm. But, you never know. If Cherokee County goes in there and plucks the win away from the Bulldogs, then we've got a 3-way possibility with Alexandria back in the mix, and they get Cherokee County in 2 weeks after that game, and we'll be at Death Valley for that one over at Loose Scales. We've got Fort Payne and Gadsden City coming up in between those 2 games, and that's probably going to be for a region title.
And especially at home for Gadsden City that week, that could be a very huge, maybe their biggest game of the season as far as trying to position themselves for a good playoff spot.
Absolutely. So we've got some great football ahead for you folks coming up here on FNN. In fact, I can't remember a season recently where we've had this many meaningful games plugged into the schedule. I mean, it's like every Friday matters.
Always good for us as far as being able to tell that storyline and provide some excitement for folks out there each and every Friday night.
No question about it. Well, we were all 3 at the same place this past Friday, so let's talk a little bit about Piedmont and Westbrook Christian and what we all saw. You start. You call the game.
Well, first off, I think Piedmont, they did what they needed to do as far as getting across the finish line. But Westbrook Christian, they really cost themselves early, especially in a big game on the road. The special teams mistakes, and it was one of the keys that Coach Steve Smith mentioned to me during the week, that special teams, the kicking game for him was a key. That, let's face it, especially the first and second quarters were a big F for their team, and really a big reason why they came up short.
Yeah, and Joe, that's really kind of uncharacteristic of a Steve Smith team.
Yeah, but one thing that is characteristic is the way his quarterback played in that game, Brody Blevins, who is he looks like a quarterback who's been playing 3 years for Steve Smith.
That kid can spin it, no question about it.
He can run it, and I think first of all you have to note the progress they've made in 3 years from where they was when he got there.
Absolutely, question.
And they outgained Piedmont in that game, but Piedmont came up with the big plays, the blocked punt, obviously the sack, the strip sack, and fumble in the end zone that was recovered. So a defensive touchdown, and those are things that are hard to overcome in any game, let alone a game between two good teams. And then Piedmont obviously has Raleigh Pinto.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can all agree that Pinto is probably one of the best players in our coverage area. I mean, he's a player of the year candidate. There's no question.
Oh, without question. His 81-yard touchdown run, it was not just the speed that he showed, but the patience and the vision to allow that run to develop might have been the most impressive play that I saw all night long.
And there came a point, in the second quarter when you started to feel like Westbrook was gaining some momentum, that he just, he got upset about a pass interference call that didn't happen. And then he started playing a lot, more physical after that. That first touchdown catch, I mean, like a college-bound wide receiver, he walled that guy off and kept his space there in the corner of the end zone and made that catch. And that was a college-level kind of play.
No question. Raleigh he's just special. We'll leave it at that. What I left the stadium Friday night thinking was Westbrook is 1 year away from that game being a slobber knocker, last person to have the ball contest probably next year.
Yeah, and I believe Brody Blevins is back next year, is he not?
That's right.
So yeah, that'll be a quarterback in his fourth year under Steve Smith, and that brings back visions of guys like, Jack Hayes, and some others you could think about.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of gets us caught up on where we were last week and, what we think about the region stuff that's going on right now. Let us talk to you about who our guests are tonight here on the Coaches Show. And I will go ahead and take credit for this while you're looking at that screen. Please don't send me a text that tells me that we have Mr. Allen's name wrong on there, because we know we do, and we just couldn't get it fixed before showtime. So it is Bryce Allen, not Tyler Allen, who is here as our player of the week. Of course, we've got Ohatchee here, Blake Jennings. Coach Jennings joins us first. We'll have Coach Sullivan from Jacksonville. And, he probably wishes he'd played the lottery last week, because that's about as close as you get when he jumps on leads the way he did. Amazing performance last Friday. Can't wait to talk to him about it. And then, of course, Michael Easley is here from Munford. He's always one of our favorite guests because, tells it like it is.
Hey, always a good coach to have, especially for our end of things.
So we will take a break, and we will be right back, and we'll go ahead and get Coach Jennings in here next here on the Friday Night Network.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Top of the River here in Anniston, Tuesday night coaches show on the Friday Night Network. Did you swallow that bug?
I think I did.
Okay, good deal. All right, we're ready to roll with Ohatchee here in our first segment. Coach Blake Jennings joins us here at the table, and Coach, kind of got the feel of being back home yet?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I've told that to people when I walked in the door first day, back into that field house. It just felt normal. It did. You spend so much time out there, 12 years, and it's pretty easy to get back into the groove of what you're doing every day.
And how did it feel to get that first win as the head coach of Ohatchee?
And it felt great. It was a good night for us. The kids have been working so hard, and we really feel like as a coaching staff, we're probably 4 to 5 plays away in the first 2 games from us really being 3-2. Because Piedmont handled us, and J.B. Pennington really kind of did too. It was a close ball game. Going into the fourth, that one was still 21-6. Just in first couple of games, we really showed our youth, really showed our inexperience. And then we win this past week. But it did feel good to get that win. And kids just keep doing everything we ask them to do every day. And that's what we've talked about is consistency, and being consistent in what we do every day.
Blake, how do you as a coach, when things don't start off the way you want them to, which is obviously what happened to you guys this year, how as a coach do you keep the team headed in the right direction with that focus and culture?
And that's it. We every day we do everything exactly the same. At 12:30 we start in the weight room, and then we get our film time, and then we go to practice. And you just keep doing the same stuff over and over. And that's what we told the kids. Consistency looks like nothing's happening until everything changes. And we've talked about that as a group, and we've got a young team, so they've just got to keep coming in and putting in the time every single day, putting in the work that they put in the weight room and at practice, and just keep giving us that, and it'll eventually get there.
And what are you seeing in terms of establishing what you want to establish there, maybe behind the scenes that doesn't show up in wins and losses yet? You
see the kids, the discipline, and doing the things that, as coaches, look somebody in the eye when they're talking to you. That's a big thing to me. If a coach is talking, even if they're in class, we talk about that. You need to look them in the eye. You need to respect who you're talking to. That's one of the things. And some of the small things, is I see kids every day right now walking past, they pick up a piece of trash and they throw it away. Just taking care of the small little details every single day will take you a long ways. And that's, if we can control the small things, it's always going to take care of the big things. And we tell that to the kids all the time. So, that's one thing with them, and just seeing that. And they all, at the end of the day, this older group of kids, these juniors and seniors, remember me as when they were 7th and 8th graders, maybe even 9th graders if they were playing at that time, and what I was about. So that has been kind of an easy transition, much easier than my first job as a head coach, because none of those kids at White Plains knew me at the time. This has been very easy because those kids have fell right in line. You got people like Gus, you got people like Quinn that are with me tonight that knew who I was and what we stood for as coaches. And it's been pretty simple. It really has, and that just goes to the credit to the kids.
What made you want to go back?
It just feels like home. And that's who hired me. 2011, Miss Kynes hired me at Ohatchee, and you spent a lot of years out there, and you learned a ton about who you were. Like, yeah, we all go to high school, we do all these things, but I grew up as a man between that, when I got my first job, time I'm 23 to I'm 30 years old. Like, I did a lot of growing up. and had a lot of people that I was able to learn under at Ohatchee during that time. Under Coach Martin, he did a good job, and we had my principal, Bobby Tittle. Just learned under a lot of people, and it's a good place. It's a special place. The people love being there. I've got a ton of family from there. My dad, Coach T, is what the boys call him. He helped me coach baseball there for a long time. He's from Ohatchee. I got other family that's from there, and so it's a pretty easy choice when the job came open. One of the hardest conversations was with Coach Randall. And telling Coach Randall, because, man, I love that guy to death, but it was a no-brainer. I remember going home and telling him.
Don't make his head any bigger than it is.
I know it. That's right. But I just remember telling my wife the night Chris told me that he was leaving. I was like, I want to try to get that job. Like, I want to go back, and I hope I'm here for 20 years. I've got a little boy at home who's 2 years old, and I hope he's watching it right now. One of the greatest things is, in the morning right now, he'll wake up and he'll say, "Dad, feetball." It's what he calls football. He wants me to turn on the TV because he loves watching football with me. But I want to see him. I just open here for a long time, and I want to see him play football on that field. That's what excites me about the place.
Of course, good coaches always have to adjust, and it sounds like, based on this last game, what we just said before you went on camera, that you're starting to think about an adjustment at quarterback.
We did, because Gus has been banged up. Man, he's rolled his ankle. He had a little neck injury go on. It was just kind of tough. And so we put Carson in there this week. And I remember telling my dad this past week, we may throw it a little bit more because Carson, he throws it pretty good and just try to open it up some. And he did a great job. I think he was 8 for 11 with 171 yards passing. And he threw 2 touchdown passes to Austin Carroll, and to the other one was to Jaden Sigler. Did a really good job for us, and it did help us open up the running game because we rushed for over 230 yards, I think it was. It was a really good night for us, and we were proud of the kids. And it really gives Gus, who plays every single snap on defense, it gives him a breather, and it allows him and Jaden and Braden Bennett to really be our 3 tailbacks and keep somebody fresh back there as we're running the football, because we're still going to run it a lot. You know who that is. That's going to happen. But it also has allowed us to be able to give Braden Bennett some reps at wingback for Phoenix, because Phoenix is a 10th grader who's done a great job for us, but he's also a 10th grader who's having to play both sides of the football. He probably didn't think that he would have to do that going into the season. And being a 10th grader having to play both ways and never played, that's tough. And so that we're able to get some people more rest during the game, which we weren't able to do early.
All right, I'm going to get Jake to throw the schedule up on the screen so everybody can kind of follow along with us. We were talking earlier during the break about the region and the schedule. And you got Donahoe this week, and then things get crazy.
Yes, sir.
You got Westbrook coming in. You got to go to the Hill. You got Glencoe coming in. Then you finish up region play at Sachs. And those 4 weeks are probably going to determine a whole lot about how your season finishes up.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. You look at that. The crazy part is it's almost over. You only got 5 weeks left. It just flies by. Like you said, got Donahoe coming in this week, and our kids are prepared very well. We've got to that's one thing, we've told our kids coming into the week, it's homecoming. And, for every coach, homecoming is just it can be a headache because they're out probably rolling, they're doing different things, and you tell them not to, but it ends up still happening. It does. So you got a lot of other things to worry about. And I talked to Coach Nix this week. I know Pleasant Valley's got their homecoming, and he said, when did homecoming not become about the football game? And it's the truth. Like, the amount of stuff that goes on Monday till 7 p.m. on Friday night is just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. But then the rest of those region games, be some tough games right there coming up. And
you got to win them, Blake.
Got to win them.
You haven't really done anything during the season that would help you much in a tiebreaker situation.
Right. Yeah.
So, you're going to have to beat these teams to get in.
Yes, sir. That's right. And just keep going. And like we said earlier, be consistent in what we do and show up and play the games.
Do you feel like that you're making the kind of progress that's going to set you up to maybe win 2 or 3 of those games?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. There is no doubt in my mind. Like I said, we're 4 to 5 plays, I'm telling you, from being 3-2 right now instead of being 1-4. That's the difference in our season. But then it also shows you our youth, because 2 guys returning that started on both sides of the ball, and then Quinn's here with us. He got a little bit of playing time for him, but he's playing tackle for us last year, and he wore number 11. Ethan Jones got a little bit of playing time. last year for him, but, man, he's done a fantastic job for us this week. And Ethan didn't even play this week, and he's our starting center and starting other linebackers, a starting wheel linebacker. So, we didn't have him this week. So just keep doing what we're doing, and the kids are playing hard. The coaches are doing a great job in that coach's office every day and preparing these kids, and that's all you can ask for.
What you were talking about with homecoming, I live in a subdivision in Jacksonville. We saw a lot of toilet paper last week.
Yes, sir. That's right.
But what are you hoping to see out of this game? Obviously, Donahoe's struggling, but what do you hope to see out of your team?
You just come in and you just got to execute, do what you do. I know that's
Don't you get a chance again in a game like this though to try some things?
At 1-4, I don't think we're trying anything. We're going to come out there and we're going to do exactly what we're supposed to do. We're going to try to go execute. One thing that we need to focus on, and we did a much better job of it last week, is tackling. Some of those first games, like against New Hope, they had a number 4 kid was an absolute player. In the second half, we didn't tackle very well. At Locust Fort, we go in at halftime up 21-14 in the second half with the guys, playing a bunch of guys both ways. We looked a little tired maybe in the second half because that night we only played 14 or 15 guys. Man, it may have been 13 or 14. We didn't tackle very well again in the second half, and that's one thing we've put a lot of emphasis on. And I've told the kids, and yes, I'm calling the offense, but defense is my first love. And That's what I did at Ohatchee. And Coach Welch is doing a good job, but we've got to tackle better every Friday night, and pursue the football and create turnovers. And if you can do that stuff, then we're going to get better. That's really what we're focused on. Can we tackle better, and then offensively, can we execute? Because there's always somebody messing something up on every play. Kids are going to do that. But that's one thing we talked about last week. How many plays can all 11 guys do their job? And if we do that, if there's 100 snaps in the game and we can do that 80 times, we got a real good chance of winning the football game. So only focus on that play. The play before doesn't mean anything. The next play don't mean anything. It's only that play. And that's one thing we're trying to get these kids to realize, that it doesn't matter what happened before, what happened after. Go execute that play.
Great. Tell us who you brought with you tonight.
We brought Gus Hunter. He's a junior for us, and he's playing linebacker, and he's played quarterback the first 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it was. This past week he played running back for us, had some really good runs. And then Quinn Nunley. He's a senior that plays left tackle for us and plays some defensive end. Quinn he's been our guy on our offensive line. He pulls around there, he'll hit you in the mouth, and he is not scared of contact. I know that. Quinn has done a fantastic job, and both of them are our leaders in the weight room. I'm just glad y'all brought us down here tonight. I know they're enjoying their food over there.
Oh, well, that's great. Hey, you can't go wrong at Top of the River.
That's right.
Right?
Yes,
everybody knows that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you for coming down. Creekbank's one of the special places we like to visit from time to time, and hopefully we'll get back out there soon. And who knows, if you slip into a playoff game,
that's right,
it could happen.
Yes, sir.
All right. Coach Blake Jennings joining us. We'll get Gus and Quinn in here with James. Ohatchee continues next on the Friday Night Network.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
We return to Top of the River here in Anniston for our 5th edition this season of the F&N Coaches Show. James Hardy with you as we continue our look at Ohatchee as they come off of win number 1 on the season, a big region win at Weaver 21-13. And to help talk about that and more, Gus Hunter off to my left, as well as Quinn Nunley off to my right. A big thanks for both of you for joining us tonight.
Of course, pleasure to be here.
So, Gus, let's talk about big win. I know a lot of transition, of course, with the program coming in as far as Coach Jennings returning, but also a tough start to the season. But I imagine with all, despite at least the losses that y'all experienced coming in, still, anytime you get a victory, especially a victory on the road, it's a good week for y'all, and I imagine that's what it was this past week.
Oh, absolutely. Starting 0-4, it was hard. It was rough, but getting the win it's gonna take a lot of God, I forgot what I was gonna say.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Quinn, just kind of talk about at least how excited was the team after all the hard work y'all put in for those first few weeks, but come up short those first 4 games to finally get across the finish line successfully this past Friday?
Oh yes, sir. We got into the locker room and we went crazy.
And Quinn, I know Coach Jennings mentioned you're one that likes to hit out there on the football field, and just kind of talk about as far as how physical was the game that y'all played this past Friday?
Oh, I thought I was very physical myself, and so was Weaver, but they put up really good competition, and I just got to win every play.
So, Quinn, where did you develop as far as just that sense of going out there every Friday and wanting to get a good lick on someone?
Well, having Coach Jennings coming back, he's really, really physical, really in the weight room, and that helps a lot. And yeah.
And then, Gus, kind of talk about the chemistry of the team this year.
We got a lot of younger guys, and we only got a couple seniors. Quinn's one of them. Having a couple older guys and a lot of younger guys, you can get these guys to step in and create chemistry. And all these guys have played together on JV and stuff like that. And when they can come in just playing on JV last year and just hang out in the locker room and just be able to get on the field as a varsity team, it creates a lot of chemistry and family.
And now, Gus, you've had a lot of playing experience with Ohatchee. What are those lessons, especially by example, that you're trying to teach and pass on to the younger players?
The same thing Coach Jennings is teaching: hard work in the weight room, hard work everywhere you are, and set an example for the younger guys to be able to go out there and just work hard and hit somebody in the mouth like Ohatchee football does.
And then, Quinn, as a group, just how have you seen this team grow from the start of the season to now?
We've grown a lot. We started 0-3, 0-4, and just rallying together to get the win, staying persistent each week is the key. And so just being good in practice, winning every play, and just staying consistent is the key.
I imagine, especially the weeks that you put in that hard work where you don't come up where you don't get the win on Friday nights, I imagine probably has to be a grind at some point as far as just learning the lessons that you mentioned, especially about persevering and just grinding things through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then also, as far as correct me if I'm wrong, homecoming week for y'all this week?
Yes, sir.
Just
yes,
how's the week around campus for y'all?
Oh, the energy's just been great. Just throughout the halls is decorated and whatnot, and just everyone's really excited for this coming up Friday.
Y'all ready for, even though a non-region game, but still, hey, the next game is the big one on Friday night, a big homecoming game against Donahoe. How excited is the campus as far as getting to see y'all come back out on the field at the Creek Bank Friday night?
Oh, it's amazing. Week by week, we have a great fan base. We have every Friday night, whether we're 0-4 or 4-0, they're out there supporting us, and it's great to have them. And they're not leaving halftime or whatever when we're down by 61 by Piedmont. So that means a lot when you have a fan base like that, and it helps us out a lot too.
And just, I guess, what makes it fun playing in that type of environment, especially at home, each and every time you go out at home?
That energy, man. You got the band. We have a great band. Carson Holcomb is our band director. He's one of my good buddies, and he's carrying it. We're getting chants. We're getting cheerleaders great, and it's just a great energy to be able to be a part of.
And then, Quinn, as far as from Coach Jennings, what's the message that he's given y'all as far as just the task at hand that y'all got coming back home off of a big region road win this past week?
Just come to work, come ready every day. Like you said, at 12:30 we start lifting, and that's when it starts. Bring the energy and just start from there and bring it into football practice.
We're about at the halfway point of the season for really all of the teams across the state of Alabama, as Ohatchee will take on Donahoe this Friday night for homecoming. As a big thanks to Gus Hunter and to Quinn Nunnally for joining us, and good luck this Friday and the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We still have a lot more to go here at Top of the River, as we have our Player of the Week, courtesy from our friends at Talladega Short Track, to hand out later on this evening. We still have Jacksonville and Munford to go, so let's go ahead and step aside. We'll take this time out, and more of the FNN Coaches Show coming up.
Welcome to Calhoun County, Alabama, your natural attraction. We have invigorating outdoor activities, amazing cultural sites, mouth-watering food, and southern hospitality, all wrapped into one amazing vacation destination. Whether you're looking for a relaxing overnight getaway or for a one-of-a-kind escapade, Calhoun County boasts an incredible selection of outdoor recreational opportunities. Calhoun County is the natural attraction, centrally located between Atlanta and Birmingham, with plenty of fun and memories waiting to be made. Come to Calhoun County, Alabama, a natural attraction.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just one or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
Welcome back to Top of the River, the Tuesday night high school football coaches show here on FNN. Jim Jacobs, Joe Medley, and to our left, a first-time guest for us, Coach Jeremy Sullivan from the Jacksonville Golden Eagles. And, Coach, I'm gonna start you off with a little funny now, okay?
All right.
All right. Don't want you to take it personal or anything, okay?
All right.
All right. Jake, put the slate back up for the guests that are on the show tonight real quick. Who's that guy second from the left?
That would be me.
You look like the big boss man.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that you in the locker room or on the sideline?
Sometimes. At times.
Okay, Jake, you can take it down. Sure. This past Friday night, that wasn't you, though. You had to smile a little, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That actually reminds me of the mug shot you had when you were playing for Jacksonville State.
Yeah,
the media guide shot.
Yeah, I did kind of give the mean mug. I guess. My wife gets on me about not ever smiling in pictures. But.
Did you think about driving to Georgia and playing the lottery Saturday morning? Because I think if I'd been you, I would have.
No, not really. Not really.
Joe, we're just not going to get a chuckle out of him, are we?
Well, if that means there's more lottery tickets for me. But,
gosh, Coach, talk about the win over Leeds. I mean, I don't mind saying I don't know anybody that picked you guys.
I picked us, and I think the guys in our room picked us. But
and in the end, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. We try not to listen to the outside stuff. We just go, do the best we can, and try to get a little better every day. And that's kind of what this team's tried to be about so far. And I think everything just kind of came together for us. Played great on defense. We dominated on the defensive line, really dominated the game, I thought, and then did a great job in the secondary getting off blocks and making tackles. We made enough plays on offense to to give us a chance to win. And I thought we kind of played good complementary football with. Defense was shutting them down, so we just tried not to make the big mistake on offense, settle for field goals a few times, kind of, sort of, not that we would have been mad if we'd have scored a touchdown, but we wasn't going to make the big mistake and change the momentum of the game. And then, I just thought our kids played great and they competed, and it was one of the better games we've played. I still think we can play better than we did Friday. So that's the challenge now, is to build on that and continue to get better, not be satisfied where we're at.
For what it's worth, Jeremy, this picker has been far from elite this season. So,
I did see your pick before the game.
It ain't personal. It's just incompetent. But
well, we used to say that was stuff that sold papers, but
right.
that doesn't apply anymore.
Gets clicks now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, just to break through and beat one of the two teams that we're seeing as the elite in the region, and to be in the position now to possibly be fighting for a home playoff game. Just what does that say about progress in year one?
Well, I think it just speaks to how our kids have worked. They've bought in from the beginning. They've done a great job of listening, being coachable. They're a really hard-working group of kids. They're fun to be around. They show up to practice every day and work hard. They showed up all summer, all spring. It's been a lot of fun being around them. I've been lucky in my coaching career. I've been around some great kids, and we had great kids at Boaz, and we got great kids here at Jacksonville. And I love going to work every day. I love working with those guys. And anytime you can beat a team that's coached by Jerry Hood, who I think is a tremendous football coach, that really means something to me. It may not mean much to the kids, but I know Coach Hood's history, and I've been knowing him for years and years, and I have a lot of respect for him as a football coach and as a person, and he does a tremendous job, and so that made it a little extra special for me.
This spurt at Jacksonville really shouldn't surprise any of us if we'd really stop and think about it, because you put together a heck of a staff when you got there.
Yeah, I was really lucky. We had some good openings, and I was able to find some guys that were eager to come and be a part of what we were trying to do, and they have done a tremendous job. We had a couple guys that were holdovers there. Brian Owens, our defensive coordinator, and I thought him and our defensive staff just did a tremendous job last week and Friday of developing a game plan and implementing that game plan, getting the players to believe in it and understand what to do. And, offensively, hiring Coach Stewart, who was at Southside last year, and we all know how that ended up. So it was great to get him and Coach Freeney from Sachs. And, I have a long relationship with Coach Freeney. And then Ahmad Duramus, who was at Oxford last year, all those guys have come in and just gelled really well. And, I think our staff gets along really well. Everybody's willing to do their part and some. So I've been really blessed as a head coach. I've had some great coaching staffs, and this is one that I'm really happy with. And, I hope that they'll continue to pick up the slack where I mess up, and that's one thing that they do a really good job of. And it's a good thing about having former head coaches on your staff. I love that because they know what needs to be done. You don't have to do a lot of instructing and telling. And, Alfonso and Ben are really leaders on our staff. And Brian's such a dang hard worker. Our defensive coordinator runs our weight room too, and he just works his tail off. And I think all our guys do. And, eventually that's going to pay off for us. And so I'm just really proud of those guys, and I appreciate everything they do for our program every day.
Well, Coach, let's throw your schedule up on the screen here so we can talk about the road left on the region. Of course, it's a non-region Friday for most everybody this week. You hit the road to Corner, but then you got Springville at home. You got to go to Lincoln. You get St. Clair County at their place, and then you play Anniston to wrap up the season.
Yeah, Coach Smith left us with a really easy schedule. At one time I was looking at that thing, and there were 4 teams ranked in 5A and 2 or 3 ranked in 4A that we had to play. I guess 2 ranked in 4A that we had to play. So it's definitely no off weeks in that. Corner is a dang good football team. They beat us at Boaz last year in the second round of the playoffs. They beat Jacksonville last year, week 5. And, Coach does a good job over there, and they got some great players. They got a really good scheme. It's really tough to prepare for. So, we got our hands full this week, and we're not looking ahead. We want to win all of them, but to win all of them, you got to win the next one. And so that's what we're focused on is Corner. And, those region games coming up, all those are good quality football teams. And, you saw that Springville Lincoln scored last week. So anybody can beat anybody any week, and we just got to concentrate on us and getting as good as we can get, so that as we roll through this second half of the season, we're prepared.
You know, I know you say you don't look ahead, and I understand that, because if you look ahead, a lot of times you get beat. But when did it hit you that this win over Leeds could put you in a position in your first season at Jacksonville to host a playoff game in 5A? That's big.
Well, it hit me about 5 minutes after we played Center Point. I said, if we can beat Leeds, and I started telling the kids if we can find a way to beat Leeds, then we got a chance at a home playoff game. And that's kind of what we preached hard to the kids last week. And, that's what they – I always want them to know why this game's important, because sometimes, Leeds is not a natural rival for us. It's not a team that they have a natural rivalry that's built up over time. I think that was only the second time we've ever played in school history. And, it's so you have to – I want to make sure those kids know exactly what we're playing for. So that we've set that out, made it very clear. And, I think they understood and acted accordingly.
Let's talk about some of the players that have been playing key roles for you this year. Kamari Harmon, obviously – starting out the year at quarterback, and he's hadn't played the position before. How has he developed this season?
He's doing a great job. He's a leader on the team. Kamari has been just a pleasure to be around. He works hard. He's a smart kid. He learns well. Of course, he's had some ups and downs on the field just because he's never played the position. But he's consistently got better every day, and he goes to practice with a mentality of, he's got to learn something that day, and he does. And you can really see the development in him over the first 5 weeks of the season. And I think Coach DeRamus, our quarterbacks coach, has done a really good job bringing him along. I'm really pleased with where Kamori's at and where he's headed. He's not played his best football yet. He is he's still one kid that, once it all clicks for him, it's going to be it's going to be a big difference there. And I am, I can't wait to see that happen. And I love Kamori. He's a great kid. I've been extremely pleased with his leadership and all the things he's done as the quarterback.
And then Quay McNeil seems to just have that playmaker stamp on his head, doesn't he?
Absolutely. When you can run that fast, it helps. But he, he had a pick six the other night, and he had a run for a touchdown. He had a huge kickoff return. We turned it over, and then they went in and scored. When they kicked it off to us, he returned it to about the 30. So, he's had some huge return for us. Had one for a touchdown the previous week against Center Point, and they got a few guys out there that can run. So, he is he's a playmaker. He's a tough kid. He's a hard-nosed kid. He's very coachable and just does a tremendous job for us.
Absolutely. And, of course, we got to talk about Bryce because he's what got everybody here tonight as our player of the week. Tell us about Bryce Allen.
If Bryce was 6'2", 205, 10 pounds, they would have to ban him from football because he would kill people. He is, he's 5'9", 185 pounds, and he plays like he's 6'8", so he's just a super kid, really smart kid, comes from a great family. He's been a leader for all season. When I showed up this spring, I don't think I was even officially hired yet. I went out. They were doing like some just volunteer stuff with the players leading it up, and I just went and watched them one day. And when they got done, he said, "All right, guys, let's run sprints." And it was him and probably about 25 other kids, and they're out there running wind sprints. And the other kids did it mostly because Bryce was doing it, and that's just the kind of leadership that he has. And the kids love him, and they look up to him, and they follow him. And he is, he's one of them guys that, as a high school football coach, you just dream about coaching. If you had, the old saying, if I had 11 of them guys, we'd win a bunch of state championships. And he's one of those guys. He is completely unselfish. Just a tremendous teammate, tremendous person. He leads prayer after practice every day, and usually has some kind of scriptural message for the players after practice. It's great to watch and to see his character and his football ability.
Well, Coach, we certainly want to congratulate you again on a huge win this past Friday night over the Green Wave. And you're right. When you beat Jerry Hood, you beat one of the best.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
Absolutely.
And you've set your team up for a nice little run here the rest of the way, and could end up being a home game come first part of November, and that would be quite an accomplishment, I think, first year at Jacksonville.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That's what we're shooting for.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get Bryce in here and hang out some hardware, and then we'll get the rest of his teammates. Tell us all before we excuse you who you brought with you tonight.
Well, we got Bryce, of course. We got Quay McNeil. And then we have Shannon Noel, who's the other inside linebacker. So Bryce is one, Shannon's the other. And Shannon actually has, I figured it up today, I think he has 2 more tackles than Bryce on the year, which is unbelievable because there are times on the headset where I say Bryce must have 100 tackles tonight. Against Leeds the other night, I said Bryce must have 100 tackles tonight. I think he had 12 or whatever it was. And Shannon didn't have many fewer, and he's just been a tremendous player for us. And so that's the 3 guys we ended up bringing this week.
Great. Well, we're going to get Bryce in here for the Player of the Week presentation, then his teammates. Coach, thanks for coming down again. Hope you enjoy your meal, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate y'all having this show and doing all you do to promote high school football in this area.
Thank you, sir. We will take a quick break, and Bryce Allen is next for Player of the Week presentations here on FNN.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today. Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your
Bama Sheds and Pole Barns, locally and family owned with the best customer service. Custom built to fit your needs with free delivery and setup. Design and price online or stop by and see what we can do for you. Nobody beats our prices and nobody beats our quality. Built in Alabama, made in Alabama. BamaSheds.com.
Welcome back to our Tuesday Night Coaches Show, rejoined by the voice of the game of the week, Mr. James Hardy. And to my immediate left, first off, I've got to start with an apology. We spelled your name wrong on the slate here.
No worries at all. No worries at all.
But we do know you are Bryce Allen, not
Yes,
Tyler Allen. We
Yes,
tried
sir.
to rename you.
No worries. No worries.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about the big win this past Friday night against Leeds and what it's done for your football team.
Definitely a big win, no doubt. Puts us in a really good position to be able to host a home playoff game. Just means a lot to be able to go out there and just to be able to perform the things that we practice. So just looking forward to the next week. We try to go week by week and try to set ourselves up in a good position to win.
As far as wins go this past Friday, was this the biggest win you've experienced in a Golden Eagles uniform since joining the varsity program?
I kind of think of each win as significant. I don't really put one over the other. So definitely a big win. Definitely probably the biggest one this season for sure. But I try to just go one game at a time, and I try not to think too much about who I'm playing, but what our jobs are supposed to be.
Now, you're a senior, right?
Yes, sir,
So
I am.
have you been playing football all 4 years?
Yes, sir. I started playing football in fourth grade. I played with my guys. Pretty much, we've had the same group of guys that I can remember playing with since A and B team, all the way up through junior high and into now. So.
Well, good deal. Well, we've got a little hardware to hand out before we bring your teammates up and let James visit with all of you. Our Talladega Short Track Player of the Week for Week 4 goes to none other than Bryce Allen. Congratulations, young man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you, and of what you guys are doing up in Jacksonville is a lot of fun to watch. James and I, or not James and I, but Joe and I told your coach just a moment ago, I don't think anybody picked you guys to win this past Friday, and I know we certainly didn't. We
did not.
We were dummies. But you guys laid it on Leeds. I mean, this wasn't just a win at the last minute. I mean, you guys dominated the game.
Yes, sir. I feel like our coaches do a really good job of putting us in great positions to win. It starts at practice. As we know, if you want to win the game on Friday, it starts at practice. You have to win every day at practice. I know our coach talks a lot about that, is dominating each and every day in practice, because if you have a bad week at practice, bad day at practice, it translates to the game. So yeah, definitely very exciting win. I think our team plays a lot with a chip on their shoulder. I think we like being the underdog. We're used to it, and I think that's kind of like that's more fuel for us. So we just try to play the best we possibly can, and we play underdogs. I think so. I think that's what makes us really good and eventually great as we continue throughout the year.
Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the award. Hopefully we'll get the chance to see you again before the season's over in the game. In the game of the week, we'll get your teammates up here. James will visit with all of you. You stay put. I'll step out as we take another break here on the Tuesday night high school football coaches show.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
We continue to spotlight the Jacksonville Golden Eagles as they come off of a huge top 10 win this past Friday night at home over Leeds. James Hardy back with you as Bryce Allen remains with us up on stage, and then also a couple of his teammates, and Shannon Noel to my immediate right, and then Quay McNeil off to my far right. Once again, a big congratulations, a huge win this past Friday. And I want to follow up with you, Bryce, with what you mentioned prior to us going to the timeout. You mentioned as far as always having those quality practices going in to game days. But I want to go back to last week. How good were the practices? Was the preparation leading up to your team's success on Friday?
It was very good. Our coaches do an excellent job of breaking down film for us. So we have that just able to look at that, and I feel like we just did a really good job of executing their game plan. So it all starts with coaching. They do a fantastic job of putting us in the position that we need to win. And if we go out there and we had probably the best practices we've had all year, leading up to the game against Leeds, and we just executed their plan to the best of our ability, and they put us in great positions to win.
Talk about what both Shannon and Quay bring to the table for y'all.
Yeah, so these dudes are absolute studs. I love them. They're like my brothers. We go to work every single day. We go to war for each other. Shabo, actually to my right here, he's my linebacker inside. I could not do any of the things that I do without him. And then without Quay and having him in the secondary back there, dudes are absolute animals. Shabo's actually got more tackles than me on the year right now. He's a phenomenal player. He reads the ball really well off the snap. Quay makes fantastic plays in the secondary, prevents a lot of passes. He's also been getting a lot of action in the backfield offensively, and just been one of our lead guys that just gets the ball and just is able to dominate on the line of scrimmage.
Quay, how big of a win was that for y'all? Not just as far as getting the win, but the way y'all played on Friday.
It was great. I'm glad we came together how we did, and we worked because we was on the bad hand, and people thought we wasn't gonna do how we did, and I'm glad we got to put on a show and work together and be great.
I know something Bryce mentioned to us prior to the break, prior to getting y'all up, was the chip on the shoulder that the team has. Just kind of describe as far as the underdog mentality that y'all go out with each and every week.
Yes, sir. We always had that chip on our shoulder since this summer because after the season we had, nobody had no faith in us, and we was always doubted, and we couldn't do nothing but work and grind, and it's just time to put on the show now.
Let's get Shannon in here. Shannon Noel with us, and I imagine had to be just a great, a fun time out there Friday night. But I got to guess that locker room after the work y'all put in during the week and the way y'all dominated pretty much from start to finish had to be a good time in the locker room post game this past Friday.
Yes, sir. We all just celebrated, and we know we deserved it. And, yeah, it was just really good.
But I imagine, though, still a lot of work still to be done as far as achieving the goals y'all want to get to this year.
Yes, sir. We just got to keep going out there at practice and doing what we're taught to do and just keep on growing and growing.
And then, Bryce, what is the message this week, especially coming off a big win, albeit not a region game this week, but still an important game coming up on the road at Corner?
I think for this week, it's just to not get too ahead of ourselves, not to get too confident, to get too braggy, because we got a lot of work to do. Corner's a very good football team. We know that last year they ended up beating us. We started out hot. We came out 21-0. They came back at halftime and ended up winning. So it's not a team to take lightly. We don't take any team lightly. We pretty much treat every single week the exact same, and we plan to come in, do the absolute best we can, and obviously come out with a W.
We often talk about as far as the lessons oftentimes and learn from a loss, but from this past Friday, Bryce, what are the lessons that you all as a team learn from a big win?
I think that we learned that when we play together as a team, that great things happen. When you're not a selfish player, when you do your assignment, you do your job. Our coaches talk a lot about being selfless, that if you do your assignment, your job, and you're trusting the guy beside you, and luckily I have fantastic teammates, have a lot of talent, have a lot of skill. So I put a lot of trust in those guys beside me. I try to go and do my assignment every week the best that I can, and I trust that those guys are going to back me up on that.
And then, Shannon, describe Bryce as a football player.
He's always in the right place. He's just really good, and I love to have him right beside me.
How would you describe yourself as a football player?
Just hard-nosed, going to get to the ball every time. And I like to be, in the right place at the right time.
And then let's get Quay back in. Quay, talk about the progress you've made as a football player this year.
I came a long way because I wasn't really always on the field, but I had to work. And, last year, that's when I really got my chance to shine with Bryce. And, him being right there for me when I didn't know what to do. And it just helped me, get to my next step. And it helped me, become who I am now. And I'm glad I got to play with Bryce and create memories.
And then Coach Sullivan, describe as far as from the first time y'all met him to now, just what's it like playing for him?
It's great. We got a great connection. We got a bond. And I feel like whatever coach told me to do, I could just do it. And however I feel, he could just help me feel better. And I think we just got a good bond.
Bryce, I know Jacksonville quality community, obviously with JSU and Jacksonville High School. You'll get a lot of support each and every Friday night, but I believe before we go, just kind of talk about the support you get from your family, which I believe they're here tonight to support you.
Yes, sir. So my dad, he really pushes me every single day in the weight room, just to be a man, and then having my mom just to be able to support me when I come home, having a cooked meal, just being able to give me a hug when I have a bad practice or when I'm on a low point. But I also want to speak a little bit about what they've instilled in me, some of the values that they've given me that I try to show on the field as well. So my family we're Christians. We believe in Jesus, and I think that's such a core root for me and what they teach me. Because, see, we learn that, not everything's about football. There's a life after football, and just having the ability when I have a bad practice, when things don't go my way, to be able to look back. Coming up on the season, I actually broke my collarbone, and it was difficult for me. I had a lot of adversity in that, and just being able to overcome that by putting my faith in Jesus, knowing that He had a plan for what He was going to do in my life, and I didn't know looked like, what game I was going to come back, and I just trusted him through that process, knowing that he was going to use it ultimately for his good. And I credit my family for that, pouring into me each day, and just really trying to push me to be a man and a leader for not just on the football field, but for after football's over, and just to be a leader in Christ. And I have a lot of guys around me that help me out with that, that believe the same things I do, and they hold me accountable as well.
Bryce, well said. In fact, that's a great place to leave off, as Jacksonville will return on the road at corner out of region play before they step back into region play in a couple of weeks. Big thanks to Shannon as well as Quay and Bryce for joining us. And we still have the Munford Lions to feature as well. I bring in Coach Michael Easley on the other side at this time out as you're watching the FNN Coaches Show.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
Welcome to Calhoun County, Alabama, your natural attraction. We have invigorating outdoor activities, amazing cultural sites, mouth-watering food, and southern hospitality, all wrapped into one amazing vacation destination. Whether you're looking for a relaxing overnight getaway or for a one-of-a-kind escapade, Calhoun County boasts an incredible selection of outdoor recreational opportunities. Calhoun County is the natural attraction, centrally located between Atlanta and Birmingham, with plenty of fun and memories waiting to be made. Come to Calhoun County, Alabama, a natural attraction.
And welcome back to the Top of the River. Jim Jacobs back at the table along with Joe Medley, who is are you the lead writer? Is that what we call you for EA Sports today? Or are you Mr. Everything?
Only will suffice.
Only?
Only will suffice.
And, of course, to my left, one of our favorite guests we try to have at least once a year, Coach Michael Easley from down at the Big Red Machine, the Munford Lions. How's life treating you?
It's good. It's real good.
I thought we'd throw you something easy to begin with. How's life treating you?
It's always good. Of course, you got to see my babies here tonight.
Yeah,
I got
absolutely.
to see them before bedtime. It was my only chance to see them awake tonight.
I'll just tell you up front, your wife is your better half.
I know that. I've been telling people that for years.
And tell us about your daughters, for those who haven't met them.
Yeah, Whitley Joe's 6 now, going on 17. Lila Gray's 4 now. She started pre-K this year.
Hey, you just thought coaching was hard.
Tell me about it. We're just hoping she don't join the circus one day.
Well, she looks like her mama.
Whitley Joe does. I actually ran into a couple from Heflin that I've known since I was 4 or 5 years old, and they were eating. I went in there, and she said, "I get to see your babies all the time now. Every time I go up to the school, I see your babies now." But I was talking to them, and they said, "Yeah." They said, she looks just like her mama." And I said, "Well, praise the Lord."
Let's talk about what's going on with Munford football. What is going on with Munford football?
Well, we're working. I can tell you that. We're in a stretch, and I've told my kids a lot the last couple of weeks. We're in a really tough stretch right now of teams that are, 4A South is very unforgiving. Tons of speed, tons of size and athleticism. And we went through a stretch, and you really have to start with Lincoln because just to their sheer athleticism, of course, being in 5A school and being a good bit bigger than us now, just the speed that we saw there, and then rolling right into Tallahassee and Bullock County and Handley, you're talking fast, physical teams in this 4A South region. And so our kids have battled. The scoreboard hasn't really shown how well we played at times in those, especially those first 2 region games. Go to Tallahassee. We go down to Tallahassee with, I think we had 4 or 5 injured in the Lincoln game. They were out. I had 2 suspended.
Yeah.
And our kids fought. It was 17-14 at halftime. And, on into the third quarter, a good ways is 20-14. And our kids they fought to pretty much exhaustion. And, I mean, if you were following that game, we had a lot of guys that never left the field. I'm talking offense, defense, special teams. Never left the field.
You were thin, for sure.
We were. But our kids fought. And, Bullitt County, who coming into the year, we kind of thought Bullitt County was the sleeper for region champ in our region, just to be honest. And we were down by 7 at halftime. And now the floodgates opened in the third quarter, and we just couldn't stop them. And so they've got a phenomenal quarterback. I think he actually got hurt Friday night, stretchered off the field, but he's phenomenal. He reminds me a lot of Sylvester Smith, who played for me at Munford. Just a phenomenal player. Took over the game. I think he averaged about 35 yards a carry that night. And Hanley's Hanley. They look like their teams are made out of a cookie cutter every year, and it's the same. So, we've been through a brutal stretch, an absolute brutal stretch. But, to my kids' credit, they're out there playing hard every night. They're trying to do the things we ask them to do, and they understand that we're in 4A South, and that's a pretty big task itself. And then you look at the teams we're playing on the front half of the schedule, and it's pretty tough. But our kids are handling it great. They're still coming to work every day, still working hard in the weight room, still doing the things we ask them to do.
You mentioned how tough 4A South is. The last reclassification cycle obviously wasn't your favorite.
It was for about 24 hours now.
Yeah. And now there's another one coming. What's your sense of how things might go? What's your hope for how things might go?
Well, I'm very confident we're going 3A next time. Just looking at our count, we're in day 31 or 32 of school. I can't remember, but we'll know in about 2 weeks what our average is. But we're around 268 to 271, somewhere in there on average. So just being around this long as I am, I would say if I had to put a number right now, it'd be 270, probably 270 point something, which is about 8 below what the cutoff was for 3A and 4A last time. And a lot of people didn't realize that our numbers, even the last couple of years, but the last 4 years, we take tuition students, and so there was a good number. We sat back and counted them a couple of years ago. There was a lot of tuition students that weren't involved in extracurriculars at all, like any sports or band or anything. And you get so many of those can kind of drive your numbers up a little bit. So it's you're really not athletically pulling from the pool that number says. And we kind of I think we got caught in that situation a little bit. But yeah, we should be. I will be shocked if we're not 3A. I think that'll fit us a lot better.
You think you're going to be the 10th team in 3A Region 6?
The way it's looking, and I don't even know if I should tell some of these numbers because these have been kind of private conversations with people, but I think your 3A Calhoun County region, for the most part, is going to get split up. You're probably looking at Ohatchee and Pleasant Valley and Sachs all being in 2A. And I'm just speaking from this area, and then B.B. Comer, who's one of those in a 3A region, they're going back. They should be going back down to 2A. I don't know about Randolph County. So, there's a lot of, you can draw a big circle around, from basically Randolph County up, and there's going to be a lot of 2A and 3A teams there, regardless of how it falls out. I feel like it's going to be a better fit for everybody, because I'm just telling you, traveling, we went to Bullitt County last year. Well, we were closer to the Florida line than we were Munford. And, we went down to Tallahassee this year. We go to Booker T in a few weeks. We go to St. James in Montgomery. That's just a lot of travel. And, and I figured it up the other day.
You guys need a jet.
Well, I'm going to tell you what we need. We need a good price on a bus if anyone wants to donate a charter bus. But it's just the financial side of it has probably bothered me more than anything last year and this year.
Well, there's no natural rivalries that come out of that either.
There really isn't. I mean, you look at the two most natural rivalries we had was Talladega and Heflin. And look, both of them got the raw end of the deal too. Both of them, I mean, all three of us. No, there's none of us that should be traveling that far to play a region game. And so, but I think once that big circle, there's going to be some 2A teams. And really, if I were predicting it, I know my old principal, Mr. Whaley, when I was at Sachs, we used to sit down and do those. And when numbers were about to come out, we would sit down and start, trying to figure out who was going to be in what region. I'm not saying I've done that now, but I would guess that you're probably looking at those three Calhoun County teams being in a 2A group with some northern up in Blount County type teams. And if I was guessing, your Wellborn, which they could, looking at their numbers, they could also go 2A. They're going to be close. But if they stay 3A, you're probably looking at a Wellborn Weaver get pulled down
south.
Down south a little bit. And not necessarily south like we are now, but in there with us and in there with, maybe Randolph County and some teams like that.
And say Piedmont would go north?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think, I think
Westbrook,
Piedmont, Glencoe, those teams, and then they go in there and catch some of those 3A North, teams a little bit. But, you never know, because when they start drawing that map, if you've ever looked at it, it usually looks like a snake because they always start in Mobile.
Yeah.
They really do with Region 1. They start in Mobile and they, shoot that thing out and it hits the nearest 6, 7, or 8 or whatever they do, and then they just kind of keep going. So I do think it's going to be good. It's going to be a good fit for us, just from that's where we are numbers wise in the school. So.
And then I've heard like a real high percentage of the 4A teams are like in the upper half of the state. Is that right?
Yeah, it's weird, because we don't know. The only reason I even know numbers is just from having some, from friends around this area that I talk to on a regular basis. And of course, this time of year, everybody's talking about their numbers and hey, who's going to be, what classification, what region and stuff. So, but you never know. Some of them 4A North teams or 4A South teams, it only takes one or two teams to push everybody down or push everybody up, depending on the way.
Yeah, and you found that out the hard way.
I found that out the real hard way. So you just never know. And you got those teams that are out there, kind of the Tuscaloosa side of the state. Well, are they going to get pulled south? Are they going to get pulled north? And you just never know. So, like I said, I feel like we're going to be 3A, and I feel like it's going to be a region with some southern, pull some of the southern Calhoun County teams into maybe down. It still will be with Handley because Handley's going to be 3A too. Still pulling down to Handley, and Randolph County and some teams like that.
Wow. Well, that'll certainly make for better gates.
Oh, much better, much better. Yeah.
All right, I got a question back to the Lincoln game that we did.
Okay.
The things that y'all were wearing on the helmet. What are they called?
Those are Guardian caps.
Okay.
That is actually the name of the company, Guardian Cap.
I had somebody tell me those things weigh 20 pounds. Is that true?
My hat's heavier than they are. This headset is definitely heavier than they are.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, well, God, if that's true, that's punishment.
No, I tell you, we started wearing them 3 years ago in practice. And, it cuts down, and I wish I had the numbers in front of me. It cuts down on concussion rate a pretty good percentage. And it's something that was just important to me. It also saves, and I didn't do this for the money, but it has saved me a ton of money in helmet reconditioning because my helmets are never getting touched, except for game nights in the past 3 years. Well, I'll be honest with you, since November last year, it's just something that had been on my heart as a coach, and I thought, we wear these every day. Why can't I wear them during the game? It may cut down on our concussions. And, of course, I wear them the first game, and we have 2 kids with a concussion. Now, that was because one got hit, and actually one's here tonight. His helmet got knocked off, and somebody came in and hit him right here with no helmet on, and the other one took a shot like right there in the jaw. So, but it has. I feel like it's been effective. I was actually talking to Coach Jennings about it a couple of weeks ago because he had one player that needed to wear it in the game. And, like I said, I felt like it's keeping our kids safer. And at the end of the day, that's part of my role. And I felt like it was what was good for us this year.
So you're wearing them every week?
We wear them every week. Yeah, wearing them every week. Okay. So, and you see them in the NFL now. It's the only piece of equipment outside of what everybody knows as a football equipment. It's the only piece of equipment the NFL's ever approved to be worn during a game.
Wow. Who'd you bring with you tonight?
Brought 2 seniors with me, B.J. Anderson, Cam Tucker. Both of those guys are 4-year guys with me. Play receiver and DB for us. Both of them started receiver for us. Great kids, come from great families. Like I said, been there with me for 4 years. Played football and basketball for me. So, I always try to break it up between my seniors and bring kind of split up all these appearances throughout the year with these 2 or with my guys. But these 2 are definitely 2 guys that earn it and are great kids.
Well, they're eating good tonight, so that's good.
Well, we got up here and they bring out the coleslaw and cornbread, and I just assumed it's Stop the River. Everybody knows about coleslaw and cornbread.
Yeah.
And Cam looks at me and says, "What is that?" I said, "Son, that's coleslaw." He's like, "I don't know what that is." And I said, "That's coleslaw. This is how you eat it." And I crumble my cornbread up, I put it on top, I mix it up. I said, "This is how you eat it." But no, they did eat good. They did eat good.
Great. Well, listen, from my radio days down in Talladega County, it's hard not to pull for the Big Red Machine. Good old Munford.
Oh, yeah.
So, Coach, y'all go find some W's before this season's over with.
Well, that's our plan. And like I said, I got to give our kids credit because, it's easy to do things right when you're 4-0. But when you're 0-4 and you're still coming to work every day and you're still lifting weights every day and you're still doing that, speaks to the character of your team. So that's just great kids.
All right, we're going to get them in here. James will finish us up for week number 5 here on the Tuesday Night Coaches Show on FNN.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just 1 or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Coming down the home stretch of tonight's edition of the FNN Coaches Show, James Hardy with you, as we certainly would like to appreciate Ohatchee as well as Jacksonville, including our Player of the Week in Bryce Allen for joining us previously this evening. And don't forget, Friday night for us will be over in Odenville, our first ever trip to go to St. Clair County as they'll take on Shelby County for our FNN High School football game of the week. And, of course, 6:30 for a countdown to kickoff and 7 o'clock, as always, when Toe meets Leather. Now, for Munford, they'll be on the road at Westbrook Christian. And, of course, all across the state of Alabama this week, a non-region game. So region records won't at least be on the top line affected as far as games this week. But we have to close out the night B.J. Anderson as well as Cam Tucker with us from the Munford Lions. And a big thanks for both of you for joining us.
Sir.
Let's start with you, B.J. I know regardless of what the win-loss record would say, just how's the season gone for you so far?
It's going good. It's been a struggle with the region and all. Traveling to Tallahassee, and they're a very athletic team, really good team. Then coming to Bullitt County, they come to us. Very good also a very good team.
Well, I got to tell you, in my broadcasting past, I did a lot of those type of trips as far as Morgan Academy in Selma, going to the southern third of Alabama, and basically going all throughout there as far as even region games. I imagine just the consistent travel as far as the way that the state has laid out the region for y'all and for Talladega and for Cleburne County. It's got to take a toll at some point.
Yeah, just taking that drive and having to prepare again just to play a whole game, it really takes a toll.
And then, Cam, but also on the flip side, I know Coach mentioned as far as the character y'all have been able to show, and it certainly comes out as far as just the adversity y'all have run into really all throughout this year.
Yeah, we don't really been through a lot of adversity, but the team, our character of the team, we always strive for greatness, always find the good in things and all that.
So let's follow up on that. What's the good that you've seen come out of this year as far as just you and your teammates?
Well, as Coach would tell us that we're a very coachable team and that we know how to play the game the right way and do everything we can to try and win.
So when you talk about playing the game the right way, at least you, not only you, but the coaches, what do they look for as far as some of those elements of playing the game the right way?
Just going out to practice and giving out effort, doing what you're supposed to do in the classroom and other stuff like that.
And then, BJ, just talk about how you've evolved as a football player. Remember seeing you a couple of years ago, I think, when we had y'all at Cleburne County. But talk about, as far as you as a football player, as an individual, how your football career has evolved over the last few years.
Yes, sir. Usually I was a quarterback before this year, and making that jump from quarterback to receiver it's been a little bit of a struggle, because normally I'm just throwing it now, running all the routes and trying to.
So what's the biggest learning curve as far as from making that type of a transition from quarterback to wide receiver?
I would have to say going in from quarterback to wide receiver, I already knew most of the plays, but sometimes you forget on throughout the game.
I know both of you are not only great on the football field, but also on the basketball court as well. Start with you, BJ, as far as just some of those things you learned that can transfer really from both football to basketball and also vice versa.
During basketball season, it's more of an up-paced game. Football, it's like a break in between, 2-minute breaks, warnings, and stuff like that, heat breaks. But, you start off slow on the football field, you might end up losing. That's why you gotta go at them first.
And then, Cam, same question to you as far as just some of those lessons you take that you can take from football to basketball and also from basketball to football.
The way I use football to translate to basketball, running on my routes, making all these cuts and stuff, it really hurts. It really helps with my agility on the court. And it's really helping me, move as a fast-paced player and help me score the ball.
And then, Cam, how have you improved as far as from the time you first stepped onto the football field with Munford, at least at the varsity level up to now?
Yeah, my ninth grade year was a real struggle. Practice was really hard for me, going against Sylvester and all that. But, now it's my senior year, I really showed a lot of progress and really doing my part for the team.
I know Sylvester, at least in recent years for Munford, a celebrated athlete as far as just what he did, at least at the high school level in our area, but also taking his talents to the SEC. Just how special was Sylvester as an athlete?
And Sylvester is a great guy. He taught me a lot as a freshman. He came back in the springtime. He told me I needed to be a leader, and he said that I really gained the ability to step up and be a real playmaker for Munford.
What made him a special playmaker?
He was just flying around, doing what he's supposed to do, being in the right places at the right time, making a lot of plays, and that was good.
And then let's throw that to you as well, BJ, as far as just how great was Sylvester as far as a teammate, but also as an athlete.
He was a very good athlete. I played football and basketball with him. Fun to be around. On the football field, once you get hit by him, you know who hit you. He was one of those people that really loved the game and played it the way it's supposed to be played.
How would you describe yourself as a football player?
I would describe myself as a player that can contribute in ways that maybe someone else can't contribute. Therefore, we all play our part on the team.
Interesting. So I know, once again, both of y'all football and basketball players. As far as what's, at least of the football and basketball, what would you say is your favorite sport to play?
You know, I like both of them very well, but I'm more of a baseball guy.
Okay. I guess what are the things you like about baseball the most, playing baseball the most?
You know, just being out on the field with the people, it's just the environment. It's a great environment to be around.
But I got to imagine, especially even for us doing televising games on Friday night, there's just something special, especially this time of the year, to the communities we go to, as far as when the lights turn on and toe meets leather on a Friday night. Just what's special for someone like you and Cam as far as being able to go out there and be able to participate out on the football field each and every Friday night as a player?
I would say the special thing is for me going out to play with the people I like the most. You know, like I don't really got close with a lot of people.
Talk about Cam as a football player.
Cam, he's a very athletic person. He's very quick too. Once you got to stay in front of him to keep him contained.
All right, talk about BJ as a football player.
See, BJ one of them people. You know, you really place the ball anywhere, he gonna go up and get it. Like he one of them high jumping people, and. You know, practice is really hard guarding BJ. It's really hard guarding BJ.
So between the football field and the basketball court, what do you think, which is the sport that you think you're best at?
I'm good at both, though. Hold on. I'd probably say football.
Okay. Any reason why?
I feel like football is really I've been playing that for very much my whole life, and I ain't really played basketball until like my 8th grade year. And I just got good at it.
So kind of talk about what got you out onto the football field to begin with.
Well, my brother really pushed me to get on the football field with him. And I felt like he had a really big impact on my football career too.
What did you learn from your brother that's helped you out as being a good football player yourself?
He just taught me how to be tough. You know, you're going to get hit. Might as well just take it.
Especially around here with some of the teams y'all face. Probably most of the teams across the state, I imagine they can hit pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
So talk about this week as far as just the preparation coming in against Westbrook Christian. I know a team we actually just saw at Piedmont on Friday. Pretty good squad, I imagine.
Yeah, they're very good, and you know, this week we've been really working hard in the weight room. You know, going through all the plays and walk through. We've been practicing good. And I think we're ready for
Friday night?
Yes, sir.
And don't forget, folks, Munford will be making the trip up to Rainbow City as they'll take on Westbrook Christian. Of course, we just saw the Warriors on this past Friday as they took a tough loss to Piedmont as part of our most recent F&N high school football game of the week. And don't forget, folks, to download, if you haven't done so already, our F&N Network app that you can watch our F&N Coaches Show and, of course, our games of the week each and every Friday, live and on demand. And don't forget, this upcoming Friday, we'll be making our first ever trip to Odenville to St. Clair County High Schools. The Fighting Saints will take on the Wildcats of Shelby County. Our countdown to kickoff at 6:30 and toe meets leather at 7 o'clock. So big thanks to Munford, and especially to BJ and to Cam for joining us, and Coach Easley, and also to Bryce Allen. A big congratulations on winning our F&N Player of the Week, courtesy of Talladega Short Track and Jacksonville, as well as Ohatchee, our guests this week. So that'll do it from Top of the River here in Anniston. As for Jim Jacobs, as well as Joe Medley and our F&N crew, James Hardy wishing you a good Tuesday evening as you have been watching the F&N Coaches Show from Top of the River.